हृदयेश्वरा परमेश्वरा साई नारायणा महादेवा महेश्वरा साई नारायणा। नारायणा हरि नारायणा नारायणा हरि नारायणा नारायणा हरि नारायणा नारायणा हरि नारायणा नरहरि रूपा नारायणा नरहरि रूपा नारायणा नरहरि रूपा नारायणा नरहरि रूपा नारायणा वैकुंठवासा नमो नारायणा वैकुंठवासा नमो नारायणा वैकुंठवासा नमो नारायणा हरि नारायणा नर हरि कृष्ण राम गोविन्द नारायण राम गोविन्द कृष्ण राम गोविन्द नारायण राम गोविन्द माधवा केशवा हरि नारायण माधवा केशवा हरि नारायण माधवा केशवा हरि नारायण माधवा केशवा हरि नारायण कृष्ण राम गोविन्द नारायण राम गोविन्द श्री वेणुगोपाल कृष्ण श्री वेणुगोपाल कृष्ण श्री वेणुगोपाल कृष्ण श्री वेणुगोपाल कृष्ण माधवा मधुसूदन नारायण माधवा मधुसूदन नारायण माधवा मधुसूदन नारायण माधवा मधुसूदन नारायण कृष्ण राम गोविन्द नारायण राम गोविन्द माधवा केशवा हरि नारायण माधवा केशवा हरि नारायण कृष्ण राम गोविन्द नारायण राम गोविन्द श्री वेणुगोपाल कृष्ण श्री वेणुगोपाल कृष्ण माधवा मधुसूदन नारायण माधवा मधुसूदन नारायण माधवा मधुसूदन नारायण माधवा मधुसूदन नारायण कृष्ण राम गोविन्द नारायण नटराजा नटराजा नटन शेखरा राजा नटराजा नटन शेखरा राजा नटराजा नटराजा नटन शेखरा राजा नटराजा नटराजा नटन शेखरा राजा शिवराजा शिवराजा 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 नटन शेखरा राजा शिव शिव नमो हर हर नमो 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 शंकर शिव नटराजा शंकर शिव नटराजा शिव नटराजा नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर पार्वती पतये हर ओम नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर पार्वती पतये हर 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 महादेवा हर 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 महादेवा ओम हर 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 महादेवा ओम हर 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 महादेवा नटराजा नटराजा नटन शेखरा राजा नटराजा नटराजा नटन शेखरा राजा शिवराजा शिवराजा नटन शेखरा राजा शिवराजा शिवराजा नटन शेखरा राजा शिव शिव नमो हर हर नमो शिव शिव नमो हर हर नमो शंकर शिव नटराजा शंकर शिव नटराजा नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर पार्वती पतये हर 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 महादेवा ओम हर 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 महादेवा ओम हर 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 महादेवा ओम हर 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 महादेवा नटराजा नटन शेखरा राजा अयोध्या विहारी श्री राम 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 अयोध्या विहारी श्री राम 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 अयोध्या विहारी श्री राम 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 अयोध्या विहारी श्री राम Krishna Krishna Dwarka Vihari Krishna 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 Saptagiri Vihari Govinda Govinda Saptagiri Govinda 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 Saptagiri Vihari Govinda Govinda निज भक्त हृदय विहारी श्री साईनाथ देवा निज भक्त हृदय विहारी श्री साईनाथ देवा निज भक्त हृदय साईनाथ देवा अयोध्या बिहारी श्री राम राम राम
offering our collective pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba and our beloved Sadguru Madhusudan Sai. Sai Ram to everyone, those who are watching live, present here, and those who are watching us live across the globe. At the outset, we take this opportunity to welcome Swami's entourage, including Dr. Sri Kantamurti, Vice Chancellor, Sri Satya Sai University for Human Excellence, and his wife, Mrs. Rupa. We are extremely fortunate and blessed to have Swami with us in Singapore again. In fact, if I recollect, from 2014 till now, we had the opportunity of having Swami Satsang more than 25 times. We are truly grateful to you, Swami. We pray you give us a strength to move from Bhogi to Tyagi and ultimately to Yogi, Swami. Swami has blessed a very special couple to address this evening. They are none other than our own brother Tyagarajan and brother sister Shantini. Brother Tyaga spent most of his professional career in public service. Last position he held was Director of Administration, National Trade Union Congress. He was also board member of Public Utility Board, Singapore National Water Agency. He was awarded the Public Service Star 2022 by the Singapore government. Sister Shantini is a lawyer by profession. She was Group General Counsel at Singapore Telecom Limited. On the command of Sri Sadguru, Sri Madhusudan Sai, they left everything in Singapore and moved to Mudanenli recently to serve the Lord. True to his name, Tyagarajan, King of Sacrifice. Brothers and sisters, Brother Tyaga and Sister Shantini.
Sai Ram, humble pranams at Swami's lotus feet. We are so happy and pleased to be here talking to you. Swami has asked us to talk about our experience moving to Mudanhalli. Earlier I met some of our brothers who asked the same question, how has it been? So I think Swami has been very kind to us. He knows that we'll be bombarded with the same questions, so he's given us the platform so we can share. Otherwise, I would have done a FAQ and distributed. So, back in the early years of this mission, maybe 2015, 2016, in a group interview, Swami told us that we will be among the first to move from Singapore to Mudanhalli. Of course, we were very happy, but we didn't think really much about that after that interview. Years went on, there were some intimations here and there that we will be moving to Mudanhalli, but we didn't take it seriously. On 31st May 2021, 2 years ago, I woke up in the morning as usual, look at my phone, and there was a text from Swami. I don't get texts from Swami. So of course we were very excited, and the text read, I need to talk to you, let me know what's a good time. That was even more of a surprise, because you don't get text from God saying, I need to talk to you, right? So woke up, Shan, hey, we got this message, and we replied, and Swami is an early riser, and so we had that phone call, video call. And those were the days of COVID, right? So everybody works from home. So we were all dressed up in our saris and white, sitting in front of the phone and talking to Swami. And so Swami told us, that call was a short call, that the time had come. He said, plan your move to Mudanhalli 2 years from now, April, May. So we say thank you, very excited, happy. But frankly, we were not sure if that was going to happen, because we've read too many of these Satya Sai Baba devotees' experiences. And Swami says, I'll see you tomorrow or next week, God's time, right? So that was it. But over the next 2 years, since then, we had occasions to interact with Swami, and several times he had reminded us about coming to Mudanhalli and the work that he has planned for us to do. And that gave us confidence. Honestly, imagine you resign your job and then the phone call doesn't come. But that was not to be the case. Swami gave us the confidence and the encouragement and guided us when we should resign and move over. So earlier this year, time had come, I asked Swami, my last day at work is 3rd May, when should we come? Because we know Swami was traveling, he was only coming back, I think 10 or 12 of May. So Swami's reply was, since your work is done on 3rd May, you have nothing else to do, come on 4th. Which is what we did. So 4th May morning, first flight out, we landed there. Now the significance of moving just before our 60th birthday, we are both Geminis. Between us, we have 4 personalities, but that's another thing. Right? So it struck us only recently, because when we went to see Swami on my birthday earlier this month, Swami explained that we are now stepping into the next ashrama, Vanaprastha. He said it means going into the forest, and literally that's happening now for us with the move to Mudanhalli. This is the stage when one goes from being a householder and being engaged in family life to a more introspective and meditative stage of life, setting the stage for the final sannyasa. Now, honestly, if you had continued to stay in Singapore, it would have been very difficult to move into that kind of frame of mind. All of us living in Singapore, we know about the distractions of life, work, family, and all those other things. So Swami, we are truly very grateful that you have brought us into this next stage, and you are our guide and guru and showing us the way. So thank you, Swami. So next part of our presentation or talk, we will talk about the experience of living in Mudanhalli, which is really what Swami wanted us to talk about. So I do the easy things, leave the difficult things to Shan.
Sairam, everyone. Good evening. actually, from the get-go, things have been very smooth in the transition. Seriously, I think I mentioned it to Swami too, that we just sort of slipped into it from life here in Singapore with the hustle bustle, with work, into ashram life. It was really nice, just slipped into it. And it started from the very beginning. So for all of y'all who have gone to India, and you know that when you collect your luggage, if you see the dreaded white chalk marks, you know what that means, right? Customs is going to take a look at your bags. So we arrived, and most of my bags had the white chalk, very prominent and bold. And so I was like, oh, okay, may have to go through that process. But as it happens, again, I'm sure the divine made this happen. We were met by the station manager of Singapore Airlines. We don't really know the guy, but through a friend, and he came to meet with us. He came and he took the trolley from me, and he just brought it all out robustly with us following. So we went right through customs. They didn't stop us. He was having his official badge and all. And Tiaga said later that through the corner of his eye, he saw that one of the customs guys was going to approach me. Then the other guy said, no, never mind, leave them. And then so we went through. So you see, even as simple as that, we got taken care of. And of course, we got into the ashram, and everybody was really nice and kind and got us settled in very easily. Very generous with their time, even bringing us to Bangalore when we needed stuff to set up home, etc. So that was really wonderful. So really look at it as this is actually love in action. That's what we saw. So we're very, very grateful. And we also then, as we slipped into our routine, I think I find both of us that we really enjoy life in the ashram. It is so peaceful. It's a simple life. And being close to nature is not something to be underestimated, I feel. It really has a wonderful calming effect. And so we truly enjoy it, doing our walks, etc. So it's just been a pleasure, Swami. So thank you for that. And then we also interacted with many of the students. Oftentimes when we used to go to Mudinhalli, it was short visits. We didn't really have time to talk to them a lot, but we were able to this time and got to know a lot of their lives. And we're very impressed. They come from humble backgrounds, but they're very clear what's their purpose in life, which is actually to realize their higher self and also to help everybody else and uplift the world. So it was just quite inspiring. And we were actually quite inspired, basically, and touched by that. And what else do I need to say? Yes, I think now it's over to you.
I think many of these students come from really impoverished backgrounds. Many of them are first-generation literates. And when you listen to them speak on a personal level or on a podium, it's really a moving experience. It touches you. I'll just share two stories. One was a young man who said when he was about 13, 14, his father decided to take sannyas and he dropped out of school. And dropped out of school, and his uncle was bringing his cousin to Mudinhalli to sit for the entrance exams. And so uncle said, you come along. So boy went along, sat for the entrance exam and promptly failed it. He failed, and the uncle then approached Swami, and Swami's grace, Swami said, okay, and the boy is now amidst us, you know, in Mudinhalli, and is doing so well, you know. When you look at them and look at him, the only thought that crossed my mind is this: it could have been one of those boys who've dropped out and could have been in a very difficult situation. Could be a difficult person for the society at large. That's one. Second one was a girl, again, first generation literate. She was sharing about her own, how I think she was widowed her father was widowed very early, so single parent. Father was a farmer, you know, two girls, trying to put them through school and all that. Went into Swami's devotee school. She speaks absolutely, you know, perfect English, right? And she was sharing about her younger sister. When she wanted, her father wanted the younger sister to equally be educated. He went around asking someone, you know, their relatives who were giving tuition to tutor the little girl. They say she's hopeless. You pay me 500 rupees a month, I will give the tuition. But that girl subsequently came into Swami school. She sat for, I think, the O levels equivalent or A levels, and she scored 93% marks. That's the kind of transformation story. These are not isolated stories. There's so many of them. And that's the work that Swami is doing, really picking up one by one, uplifting them. And behind each one of them, it's a family, right? So it's not just one, it's a multiple of that. Okay, let's come back to what are we doing in Mudanali? Why did Swami ask us to come? Okay, basically Swami has asked us to help with setting up the quality assurance framework for the teaching hospital, working closely with the doctors and the university administration and other leaders. We are under no illusion that we are doing anything. We just try to be available to Swami and let him work through us, because everything is God's will and it's warp speed, the way things are moving in Swami's mission. And we pray, Swami, you'll guide us and let us be good instruments, be hollow, empty, as you have said, and students have said, be noble, able, and stable, and to be available and convenient. Obedient and convenient. Still not there yet. Sometimes people are obedient, but not convenient, no time. And there are others who are convenient, but not very obedient. So all of us strive to do that. Swami said it's, as far as this quality assurance framework, Swami has said this is the right time. Although the hospital has been around for 5 years, but as most of us know, it's really picked up in terms of staffing and all in the last year or so because of the medical college. So numbers have grown. Swami says we are not too old, not too young, not too small, not too big. And this not too small, not too big is because every day we have 1,000 over patients coming in, 1,002, 1,003 outpatient. And this number is going to grow huge. It's going to go many times. And Swami feels now's the time to establish all the processes, protocols, document it. He's a serious manager, Swami, leader. He wants all the metrics done, balance scorecard, internal audit. For those who are in the management field, you'll understand all these things. And that's the way to be. If you want to be world class, you need to be there, benchmarked with the best in the world. And so it's been exciting for us. Swami has brought us, told us to go and study the best hospitals. He brought us to the Shankara Eye Hospital in Coimbatore. So we've started engaging and talking to them, and they are helping us in developing our system. So as I said, it's been exciting. We are learning and growing as we embark on the work. And we are grateful to Swami for giving us this opportunity. You want to talk about the next part?
So one other aspect maybe just to call out briefly is living now in Mudanahali, I think we have a deeper appreciation of Swami's mission and the teachings and the work, because we are there, we see it firsthand, we have more time, we are actually having interactions with students, doctors, other devotees, and we really can see that it is a humongous mission that Swami has embarked on, but I'm sure it will succeed. So there's a lot there. So for example, I think Swami kindly invited us to his visit to the high school at the Gurukulam, that's in Mudanahali. It was so touching to see the students, how they expressed their knowledge, skill, and devotion to the Lord through various ways, whether it's through skits or yoga performance or recitals and singing and so on. But what was the most engaging was the fact that the students were really there was a very close bond between Swami and the students. It was so apparent. And there's a lot of love, there's a lot of humor, and a lot of honesty. So they said a lot of funny things too, because they treat Swami as their father and mother and everything. And what Swami says about education is very, very meaningful. I mean, it struck me then when he said that the kids, the usual saying, jack of all trades, but master of none. And Swami says, yes, he wants them to know everything, a little bit of everything, jack of all trades, but they must be master of one. And he wants to develop that passion that they have in themselves. Whatever that is, the teachers, the mentors, they are there to help the student identify it and help nurture and grow it. And I thought that was so powerful. So I think that will bring us a lot more, megastars and Nobel laureates in time to come. I'm pretty sure. So I was quite impressed and touched by that one from an education standpoint. And of course, in the hospitals, there's so much going on. It's amazing that we are doing, we are servicing so many patients with the kind of resources we have. So clearly we have a lot more to go, but it is, the dedication is amazing from the staff there as well. So, and really from a standpoint of, so what have we, or at least I learned so far, I think it's to also allow Brahman to act through you. So try and get rid of your personal preferences. I think that's key, and that Brahman act through you, and I think that's what we're all trying to practice. Work in progress, of course, but something that we hope we can get better and better at, because then that will be that will be perfection, not what we think. Anything else with that?
I think that's all from us. So on behalf of everybody, our prayer to you, Swami, make us your good instruments, make us always be available. We pray that all of us will not only be noble and able, but will be stable. Minds sometimes goes up and down. That doesn't happen. And that we progress in this path and we be what you want us to be, that exemplars for the world. Thank you, Swami, for this opportunity. Sai Ram.
Thank you, Brother Tyaga and Sister Shantini. Best of everything on your journey of Vanaprastha. Don't be lost in the forest, Brother Tyaga. Swami, please grant us your divine message.
After Tyaga and Shantini have spoken, it makes me feel so happy that they've only spoken the good things about me. They are already noble, able, obedient and convenient. No, there are only good things over there. There is nothing. How else it can be? Wherever there is God, there has to be good there. And wherever there is good, there has to be God there. And I think the ashram has grown into such a beautiful place of goodness and godliness that anybody who comes with any feelings, little good feelings also, can experience the presence of God over there. And anybody who is godly naturally ends up doing all good over there. So I think Tyaga and Shantini are the thought leaders, I would say, in Singapore group, who took this plunge, who this leap of faith, and it was just a phone call, as they mentioned. But when love beckons, just follow. Don't think, don't calculate, don't worry, don't judge. Just follow. That is what we have to learn from Tyaga and Shantini. Their time had come to Mudanhalli to work in the mission full time. They were always supporting the mission from here. But the time had come, and when that call came, they responded to it. And that's very important, to respond to God's call. God doesn't call everybody. Sometime in millions of lifetimes, there is a time when such a thing happens, when you get a call from the divine to fulfill the purpose of your birth. At that point of time, being fully ready, and not being attached, not entangled, or not stuck in something else of your own is very important. So I always say, always live in that readiness. Ready and steady, and then go. Readiness to follow God's wish. Steadiness to be able to follow it all through, not on Monday and then just sleep on Tuesday and things like that, again back on Wednesday. All days of life. And then when you're ready and steady, that's when go happens. So I took 2 years to ready them. Of course, lifetimes to ready them, but last 2 years, by talking to them, what it needs for them to get ready. They had family commitments, they had parents, they had siblings, they had so many other things to look after. But they took this plunge of, as I said, the leap of faith, and worked on everything, got everybody to understand what they're going to do, answer everybody's questions. It's a long process. So it took a good 2 years to get everybody ready around them also to accept the change. And then, as they mentioned, that they came, and I feel so relieved because the mission is so big now, especially with the hospital, medical college, and so many people coming in. It's not possible to maintain or to manage everything single-handedly. We need more people, good people, experienced people, professional people, at the same time very spiritual people. I think Tyaga and Shantini bring that beautiful combination of both spirituality and professionalism, and that's going to add a lot of value to the mission. And I'm so happy that both of them as husband and wife, I tell husband and wife are partners, Dharma Patni and Dharma Pati. On the walk, they should walk the path of Dharma together. So when husband walks, wife follows in the path of Dharma. And if husband deviates, wife ensures that the husband gets back to the path. So also, when wife walks, husband follows. And that's how they help each other walk on this path of Dharma. And as per the ashrama Dharma, as they just mentioned, there are 4 ashramas: Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. And this is not just to do with Hindu Dharma. This is for all the people in the world. They all can follow this. It's very simple. Brahmacharya, let's say a quarter of your life, the first quarter of your life is all about learning. You need to acquire skills, knowledge, abilities to be able to contribute to the society by working in the society. So that is the first part. Many of you are students, so they fall in this category of Brahmacharya Ashrama Dharma. Then comes Grihastha Ashrama Dharma. You step into a family life, you raise a family, you have kids, you get them educated, you take care of your parents, you work, you earn, and all that. So that phase is another quarter of your life. So you finish that, and then you come to the third phase of your life, which is Vanaprastha. By the time kids have grown up, they all move on from Brahmacharya to the Grihasthashrama, and then you move into the Vanaprastha, which means Vanaprastha means living in the forest, dwelling in the forest. But I call forest ashram as for rest dharma. You should rest now. Rest your mind, not run and worry and be anxious about all things of the world. Now your mind needs some rest. You find an environment which is peaceful. So in the olden times, husband and wife would move away from the family house and they'll go into an ashrama in the forest, live with the guru, or every family had a guru they used to follow. So they would go and do some service there and look after the ashrama and things like that. So that's Vanaprastha. And finally comes the Sannyasa Dharma. In Sannyasa Ashrama, you are no more considering yourself as husband and wife. You both are Jivatmas whose goal is to attain Paramatma. So far you were partners in this. Now you become travelers, or people who are together on this journey. And then each one has to find God for himself or herself. So you support each other in this last part of the life. And then that's how, like a ripened fruit, naturally falls from the branch. Likewise, you naturally merge into God. There's no effort. Effortlessly, you become one with God. This was how our life was designed. So when our rishis would bless, they will say, Shatamanam Bhavati Shatayuhu, live for 100 years. And this 100 years was divided in these 4 phases. And I always say the first 2 phases are to get inside the world. Brahmacharya and Grihastha is to enter the world. Vanaprastha and Sannyasa is to exit the world. Now if you go at 10 kilometers one way, and if you want to return, you have to return 10 kilometers again. You can't return 5 kilometers or in half the time or half the distance. You have to go the same distance all the way back. Likewise, the first half of your life is to engage in the world, to contribute, to provide for everyone. And then the second half of the life is about exiting the world slowly and gradually. And our scriptures are so compassionate. They don't rush you into it. They don't say you have to do it overnight. It's not possible. They know it takes time. Just as you have gone in, so also you have to come out. It's a process. So if everybody in the world followed this, it will become so very good. The whole world will be so happy. Everybody will be living a peaceful and a harmonious life within the families and in the communities and in the nations. Simple things. When I was there in the US, devotee was telling that his Guruji told him that, these are the ashrama dharmas. First phase is to learn, that is brahmacharya. Second phase is to earn, that is grihastha ashrama dharma. Third phase is to return, he said, which is vanaprastha ashrama dharma. Then I asked him, what about the 4th phase of sannyasa? And he had no answer. I said, you should return everything so that there is nothing left to return in the fourth phase. You should be completely free of all attachments and entanglements. See, that's how one should develop detachment in life. And our scriptures are very, very kind. They know we take time to do things. They give us time. Our gurus give us time that you should follow step by step by step, which is very easy, very royal. So that is what I expect everybody to do. And all people of all religions, of all faiths, of all countries can follow this simple path. First quarter, learn. Second quarter, earn. Third quarter, return in the sense of the society. Fourth quarter, nothing, no other entanglements other than God, nothing else should remain in your mind. And even as husband and wife, you recognize each other as two sadhakas, two aspirants, two spiritual partners who are on this way to God. And you help each other. That's how everything has been designed. So as long as you follow this, I know some of you are already calculating your age in your mind. I don't know who is next in the line. But what I mean to say is that not that everybody has to come to Mudanali. It's not possible. But wherever you are, your attitude should be this. You get my point? Most important thing is how you feel mentally, how you feel within. It's not the external changes. External changes are needed. By all means, go ahead and do it because it's for your own good. But more importantly, work within. Develop that sense of detachment. Develop the sense of withdrawal from everything. It takes time. You know the story of Abhimanyu, who went into the Chakravyuha. Chakravyuha was a kind of a military formation, and very few people knew how to go and fight and come out of it. So only Arjuna, his father, knew that. But what happened is that when he was telling about this to his mother, mother slept off, and so it seems the baby in the womb that this Abhimanyu was, he heard only half the story, which was how to enter the Chakravyuha, that particular formation. But because the mother slept off and did not listen to the second half of the story as to how to get out of that particular formation after fighting the war, he did not learn that. So when he grew up and the battle of Mahabharata was going on, and a day came when somebody had to go, and that was Abhimanyu's turn, and he was a young boy. And mother said, you do not know the entire thing, don't go because you do not know how to come out. He said, I am a warrior, I have been called for war, I cannot turn away, I have to go. And he went there. He went inside, he did what he needed to do, but he did not know how to come out of it. And of course, they also played foul, the Kauravas, and they trapped him and killed him. The idea is that getting into the world looks easy. No, you're born, you have no choice. You're anyway born. You're born in a particular family. It's all calculated elsewhere. It's all your karma that brings you into a certain family in a certain situation. You can't change that. It's already done for you. So you just end up in a family and then you start growing over there. You can't complain about it because that is how it has happened. But what can you do about once you have come into the world? You must start learning how to use your time in this world and how to learn to withdraw from this world at some point in time, because it's important. Otherwise we get stuck. Then what Shankaracharya says, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani Jatare Shainam. Again and again we are born, again and again we die, again and again we land up in another mother's womb. This goes on and on and on. The only way to break this cycle is once you know how to exit. And that doesn't need millions of births. Even one birth lived correctly can help us, exit this cycle. But that is the game of life. You have to learn the game. How you enter and how you exit. Both you have to learn. So that is the part of life, and this is what I was telling Tyaga and Shantini. They took it so seriously and they really worked on it. They took the time, they helped everybody understand what they are trying to do. And I'm so glad because they're all the time thinking how to improve the system. See, now they're not working for themselves. Not that they were always working for themselves, but now all the more they're working for the greater good of society. That is Vanaprastha. You start serving the society. And now they are part of the quality team, of the quality assurance, quality management team, because as the hospitals are growing big, more patients are coming. We just do not want to be a charitable institution, but we also want to be a world-class charitable institution, which is at par with any other institution in the world, which is doing this kind of service. So that is why we needed them. And they both have happily agreed, and they're happily living, and they enjoy their time as well there, and they have good associations, good company of many people who are living the same life. So it is easy, everybody thinks the same way there. So it is very easy for them to live there. And I bless them and I wish them that they will always remain like this, helping each other, walk towards God, realize their divinity, and exit this game successfully, victoriously. That is the blessing for both of them, and I hope many more are getting hints from this. And and I always tell, there was a time when a text came from me and people will jump in joy. Oh, there is a text from Swami. Now if a text comes from me, they think and open it the next day after. They don't even open. I don't get that blue ticks, Then I know. That they do not know what's inside. So, let us pray and hope that it's all good and there's nothing demanding. And then they wait to open it. But they shouldn't do that. When my message comes, then and there you must open, saying, oh, here's a message, and this is important because something for our own good must be in this message. Something that may not be comfortable, may not be convenient to us, but that is what is right for us. And that courage to walk on this path is very important. Just yesterday I was telling, scripture says spirituality is only for the courageous. Courageous does not mean you have to go and fight a war. It's not that you have a war on the frontier, you want to go and fight and show your courage and your bravery. No, spirituality is a different kind of courage. A different kind of courage which helps you to overcome your fears, your anxieties, your attachments, your ideas, your individuality, that sticky individuality which doesn't go so easily. And that is the courage, that is that personality that you have developed over a period of time because of your associations, your thoughts, your process of learning and everything. That is something that has to be gotten rid of, and that takes time because it's not comfortable to know that you are more than just what you thought you were, and that your goal of life was different from what you were planning all the while. So suddenly, you see the earth from under your feet, has disappeared, and there is a feeling of a little bit of fear and anxiety. Like you get into any new thing, it makes you feel uncomfortable. But if you get this idea that my life was anyway decided this way, I have 4 phases, and phase by phase I must move from one to the other, and that's a progression. That's not regression. That's a progression towards God. That's why I asked them, both of you, have you got a promotion or a demotion? Because everybody in India would think if you go and settle down in Singapore, it is a promotion. You're living in a better country with better facilities. And if you come back from Singapore to India, it looks like it's a demotion. So what is it for you? And then they said, no, it is a promotion. Because actual goal of life is to get closer to God. And that is helping us get closer to God. So it's a promotion. So you figure it out how many of you want promotion. I'm here distributing promotion letters. But provided you deserve it, and deservedness they talked about, you have to be obedient and convenient. And I find Tyaga and Shantini perfectly obedient and perfectly convenient to me. I'm so glad working alongside. It makes it very easy, because so many people around the world I have to talk to, deal with, and I don't have time to repeat instructions. I always tell, the best way to show honor or respect to your guru is to don't make him repeat his words. Once he says, that's it. No debate, no discussions, no arguments, no repetitions. It's once and said and done, because you should not waste Guru's time. He has spoken, it means he has thought, he has planned, he has seen the future and the past, and then uttered something. You should respect those words. You should not make the Guru repeat again and again and again. That's why I said be obedient and convenient. Many people are very obedient. They say, yes, we'll do, but they give me a hard time while doing it. Then some people are very, very convenient, They will say, oh yes, we will do it for sure, but they never do it. That's the obedience is missing. Or they want to do it their way, not the way I want. So completely what she said, let Brahman act through us. Let it not be colored by my individuality. Let it not be distorted by my own personality. Let it be a free flow of that divinity through me. And what is the purpose? Purpose is to just express this divinity through us. And each one of us is capable of it. The more transparent we become, by not letting our ideas and thoughts or our likes and dislikes, preferences and wishes color or distort this divinity, the more divinity will be expressing through us in all its splendor and glory. And that is all that needs to be done in this life. The whole effort is not to attain something. The whole effort is to not let this suit, let this color, let this distortion of individuality disturb the expression of divinity. That's all we have to do. We have to just ensure divinity already exists in us, right? We don't have to get it from somewhere and put it inside us. But it's finding it difficult to express itself, because it's being blocked, it's being obstructed because of our mind and our thoughts. So once thoughts become pure, mind becomes clean, it shines forth through each one of us. And that is what we are here to attain. So all spiritual sadhana is just to help us become the transparent, clear glass through which the light of divinity should shine in all its splendor and bring light to within and also without. This is all these spiritual efforts are all about. So when we have this clarity in our head, what is the purpose of life and how do we achieve this purpose? Step by step is given. Just follow those steps. Follow diligently. Don't wait for things to happen. Make it happen for yourself. Make it happen. When you know this is the time, I must move to the next stage, make it happen for yourself. Don't find reasons to delay. Don't find reason to find excuses. Don't find reasons to say why you can't. Rather, you find reasons why I should and I must. And everything else will be taken care of if you really, really follow the heart, follow the path. Everything else will fall into place. That courage, that conviction one must have in spiritual truths. And that is my job. In this education conference, somebody asked, how did you get this title, Sadguru? So I explained to them, Guru is the one who teaches you about something. Gu is dark, Ru means the one who removes the darkness. So darkness of ignorance is removed by a Guru. So if you don't know how to sing a song and somebody teaches you how to sing a song, he has removed the ignorance of not knowing how to sing and taught you how to sing. So that way he made you wiser. And so he becomes your music guru. So also you have gurus who teach you yoga guru, management guru, all kinds of gurus. And so the one who teaches this truth, Sat is also the name of God. Om Tat Sat it says. Om, that is truth. So that Om is truth. Or the God is known by the name truth, Sat. Sat means that which exists. Asat means that which does not exist. So the whole world is called as Asat. Not that it does not exist, but it does not exist independently on its own. For example, you are a woman. That is, you exist as a woman even if you don't exist as a wife, even if you don't exist as a daughter, even if you don't exist as a mother. But the existence of mother or daughter or wife is dependent on the existence of you as a woman. Unless you're a woman, you can't be a mother. Unless you're a woman, you can't be a sister. So this dependent existence is asat, untruth. The pure existence, which is independent, is sat. So this is the example what our scriptures give. That how you can be a man first and then only you can be a son or a husband or brother or whoever. So likewise, you have God first. And on this God, this all superimposition of all this jivatma, you being a man or a woman or rich or poor or intelligent or not so intelligent, everything is superimposed on that. But the existential reality is Sat, which is truth. So I am teaching this, therefore this is my subject. That's why I call myself as Sadguru. Many people asked, why don't you call yourself by any other name? Why don't you call yourself Bhagavan? I said, doesn't make sense to me, because if I call myself by any other name, then I distance myself from you. And I again go and climb up a pedestal and sit on top of some place, which is what I'm doing right now. But symbolically, I go somewhere else and then everybody says, oh, this is not doable, this is not for us, this is too far, this is too big. And they will give up. So I just tell them that I'm just among, one of you will become a teacher. Suppose who is a student today, if he studies enough, someday he's going to be a teacher or she's going to be a teacher, and then they can learn, they can teach the other students. Likewise, I'm only a teacher. I'm only trying to teach you what I have learnt. It's easy. It's just follow the steps and allow yourself to be pure and selfless in every act of your life. Try to be selfless. Do it for the greater good of all, not just for your sake. And whatever you need will come to you. Even if you do cooking at home, just do it thinking I'm doing a naivedyam for divine. It is a part of my offering to the divinity. And divinity exists in all. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva. Pranam Deham Ashrita. In all beings, as a fire that burns inside hunger. So I am offering it to God, and in the process everybody is getting to eat. So this simple change in attitude will change everything. Your perspective will change. Suddenly your actions will become selfless. And whatever you eat will become prasadam. Your house will become temple. Your kitchen will become your altar. It is so easy if you just change the attitude towards everything that we say or do. So with that, you do a job, you do a household work, you go out and work in the community. anything that you need to do, just do it for the sake of God, just turn it around. And then you see everything looks different. Everything looks spiritual. And there's no need to go anywhere else. Where you are, you can already experience that presence of divinity. It's very simple. So our spirituality is very simple. And I do not believe in heaven and hell and punishments and rewards as being spirituality. That is a religion that has been created like a school, Unless you have some punishment, children won't behave properly. So you need to have some rules. But spirituality is beyond all these things. Spirituality is just the belief in that existence as pure truth, which is divinity. And knowing that all else is dependent on this, so it is untruth. In a way that it is a dependent existence. So what is my true existence? You go on digging and going deeper and deeper, you know that my true existence is this divinity alone. That should get very firmed up in your mind. And then you should know this is what I need to realize. If I'm not able to experience it right now, means there is some more work to be done. That's all it is. Good part is it is already there. Suppose you lose your passport. I'm just giving an example. You know that you have lost it somewhere in the house. It is there somewhere in the house. At least your problem has become smaller in size. You know that somewhere in the house, if I search, maybe in the cupboard, maybe in the drawer, maybe in my bag or something. At least your area of search has become, but you know that passport exists inside the house. Suppose you had gone out and lost it somewhere. You don't remember where it is now, how will you search? You don't know it exists or not there, where you're searching. Likewise, divinity is already there within us, so there's no worry. You have to only search and find it where it is. Whereas if you don't know if divinity is not there, then you have to search for and get it from elsewhere. So our spirituality is very simple. It says divinity already exists in you. You're not realizing it because there is something that's not being done right. And so the more selfless we become, the purer we become, the divinity itself expresses itself. It shines forth. So you don't have to search for it. It shows itself up. And this is how we have to. That's why this service mission, many organizations are not so much into service. They're more into sadhana, more into this. I go travel around the world. They say, you're a spiritual organization. Why don't you, restrict yourself to giving discourses and having bhajans or doing some rituals? Or why do you get into all these kind of big projects and things like that? To them, I have answered this way. I said, this helps you all to participate. And by participating, you think a little more about others. And that helps you to clean up your inside. Ideas of I and mine and selfishness. When you look at everybody else, your heart melts. That helps you to clean up the inside. And that helps you to express your divinity in a better way. So this is very simple. Our spirituality is, the path of our spirituality is through the path of service. And that's what we are all doing. See, you all started in Singapore. It started, as Shivaramakrishna was telling, 25 satsangs or something like that. Over so many years, almost like maybe around almost 10 years now. So it started with a small school in Gulbarga. It was few children, village children. And then it grew into a university, as you know. And we have the convocation on 3rd again, this July 3rd, on Guru Purnima. And then it is now going to the first medical school, which is giving medical education for free. A lot of people don't believe it because they think this is not doable. And I tell 10 years back also, they told the same thing. Free schools are not doable. Free hospitals are not to be done. And it won't survive, it won't last. That is what they told us then also. And if we had heard them and listened to them and told that, okay, you are right and we are wrong, we wouldn't have done anything till date. But we have done it all, and so many people have benefited. It has changed all of us. It has made us better. I cannot talk about it, but at least I can talk about myself. It has changed me for the better. So I know that there is truth in what we are doing and saying, and this will help anybody and everybody who participates. So this is the mission, and we should have that clarity. It's very simple. Our spirituality is very simple and very easy. It's not at all complicated and tough. It doesn't demand that you know these rituals, that many shlokas, these many mantras. You go and do this kind of austerities. Nothing. Lead a simple life. Lead a pure and selfless life. In every act, try to see how you can do more good for more people. And allow your ego and selfishness to melt away in this process of doing good to everyone. And when you keep doing that day after day after day, your spirituality, your divinity starts shining from within. And it automatically expresses itself without any effort. Just clean up your mind. That's all is required. And cleaning is very easy with service. So everything falls into place. Let me share a secret. The next on my hit list is Ravi Pillai and Shamini Pillai. slowly I'm getting him there. I got his one leg into Mudanelli, the other leg is still stuck in Singapore. Slowly I'm pulling him from this side. The idea is that he's a very good surgeon and he can also help in the hospital, and he always wanted to do that. His father always wanted to do that. As a family, they've always been doing this for a very long time. So I've taken personal care to settle the children and take care that everything is settled, and then they can easily come. So I gave him a time. First, partially you come and go, and slowly you shift both the legs this side. So that is how it will. Everybody's time has to come. But I tell you, it is the most joyful thing to do. It is the happiest thing to do. It is the most blissful thing to do. But at the right time. You do it at the wrong time, you will be miserable. You do it at the right time, you will be happy and blissful. So that timing is very important, and best to leave it to the Guru. You surrender and say, I'm here available to you. I have tried to be able, and I have tried to be noble. I have tried to be stable. But more importantly, I'm available. And you decide when is the right time, and you tell me what needs to be done, and I will simply follow you. So I always to call Singapore devotees and tell, sing that song, we will follow you. We will follow you, because that follow you is so important, especially when love becomes, when God calls, just follow. Even if you do not understand what is it all about, just follow with one faith that this is for my good. Even if the ways are steep and hard, even if they are, as the mountains and oceans on the way, even then follow. Because following is what will take you to your destination. Not following will not take you anywhere. This is very simple. This is the spirituality that we talk about. Where is Shamini? Shamini is, I can't see Shamini. He was sitting there. I hope she heard what I said. If not, you please convey it to her. Anyway, Ravi has heard it. Isn't it? So now Thyaga and Shantini are one example. So if someone can do it, definitely the other person also can do it. That's why I told them to speak. Any questions you have? No questions? Irka. Ravi Pillai, you have any questions? I'll deal with you privately later. If I ask him, give me a long list. How would this be? How would that be? And things like that.
Swami, I have a question. You were talking about individuality. The thing is, if everything is Brahman, surely our individuality is also Brahman, and because it's so impermanent, why do we need to get rid of it? Because it's going to go away anyway.
Yeah, it will go away only. So I'll give you an example. See, sun is shining in this sky, and that sun is the reason why clouds form, isn't it? So clouds in a way are nothing but the outcome of the sun shining. But these clouds go and cover the sun and don't allow us to see the sun and make everything dark. So though clouds are also formed because of the power of sun, just like this world is formed because of power of Brahman, there is a little bit of sun in every cloud, because without sun's energy the water would not have evaporated. So likewise this Maya, what we call as the Jagat or individuality, is created as a product of the existence of Brahman only. But because it does not allow us to experience that Brahman, it covers that idea of Brahman like cloud. So as a Jivatma, we are not able to experience the Brahman. If you are able to, who are Jivan Muktas, they are those who, even if there is a cloud, they can experience sun. But for everybody, the cloud must go in order to see the sun. And that's why to experience that Brahman at all times, even though Maya has been created by the same Brahman, one should be able to get rid of the cloud. And that cloud is individuality. This individuality is the idea that I am this person. If you can change your attitude and you really, really experience the idea that I am Brahman as this person, I have no problem. Let the cloud remain. But most of the time our problem is I am the cloud, or I am the Jivatma who is Brahman. We see it from this side, right? If I am on the sun side, I have no problem. I have light on my side. But I am seeing the whole truth from the cloud side, which is why I can't see the light of the sun. So as long as I say, I am Mr. So and so, but I am also Brahman, I'm seeing it from the side of the cloud, so I can't see the sun. But if I say I am Brahman, and incidentally at this point of time also so and so in this birth, no problem. So a Jivan Mukta's whole perspective is from that side. So if you are on this side of this equation, then you have to put an effort to go to that side or get rid of the cloud, which one of the two, you understand?
Yeah, sorry. Yes, but also, do we even have free will to do that?
Oh, yes. In the game we have. In this game of life we have free will. It's been given that way, because free will and destiny is a chicken and egg story, which comes after what? But the truth is that as long as you don't experience Brahman day in, day out, every moment, you know that the game is on. And the game is to exercise the free will which has been given to you while you are on this side of the equation, and it's like a pole vault, Use that to jump onto the other side. And then you realize that it is all the same, but then you don't realize it, so you have to put effort. So therefore the concept of free will is there. For Jivatma, free will exists. If you become one with Paramatma and you have no difference whatsoever, you don't experience the difference, then it's okay. Many people use this, oh, I am miserable, I am sad, I murdered somebody, I cheated somebody, but it is all divine will, because I have free will. But did divine will like this? You go and hurt somebody, harm somebody, and things like that. No, because at that point in time you did not experience your divinity, therefore you ended up doing things which were not as per the divine. So at that point of time you must put efforts. If you're always immersed in the divine will, where is the question of you doing anything negative? So just pinch yourself and ask, am I doing anything negative today? Is there any negativity in me today? It means somehow or whatever reason I'm not experiencing the divinity in its fullest. So I have still some work to do. And that work is called the free will. Using it to do the right things, seeking this help of the scriptures or the gurus, and pole vault to the other side. Till then this free will concept exists.
Sorry, I have another question. I'm sorry. Okay, so when we pass, before this you spoke about how everybody is like electricity. Consciousness is like electricity, and it just appears in different appliances. If that's the case, when we pass, when we leave this body, we go back to the universal consciousness. If that's the case, how is it that then we are born into a different body with habits, vasanas, and all these things? Because if a droplet of water goes into the river, you can't pull that water out again. So what is all this?
There is one thing in between. See, you can't take all examples at the face of it, Examples are only to help to point towards a greater truth. It does not mean this is exactly the truth. The truth is that we have mind. Mind is like as I said, the cloud again, or the soot that comes out of the fire that covers the glass. So mind exists for us. See, unless we get rid of this mind, we carry this mind birth after birth. It tags along with our consciousness. Like a sticky, that's why the individuality is so sticky. It tags along with our Jivatma consciousness. So it's like a water drop which is inside an oily thing, It's not able to break free from the oil and merge with the total water. It's covered by that individuality. That also has been created by Brahman only, no doubt about it. That's why I call it a game. So in a game you create your opponent and you fight a game. So Brahman has created an opponent called Maya by his own power. And then he puts us in this game and says, now show me how well you do. And then we go by the rules, then we win the game, we go back to Brahman. Otherwise we carry this individuality, the sticky mind with us. This mind makes us to be born again and again. And what is mind? All the vasanas, all the thoughts that we have gathered during the process of our living. So if we are in good company, we would gather good thoughts. It's easy to detach ourselves at the end. And we don't carry this oily, sticky thing with us. But most of us, if we are in the wrong company, or we have done things, as I said, the free will part is being used accordingly, then we end up with this mind entangling with us. And when we go to another birth, it brings us to a place, a situation to continue the fulfillment of the unfulfilled desires of the past. And that is the concept of mind. That is why we have Panchakosha Viveka, we call it. Body is just the appliance, as you said. But we can't, it is not a straight example. You can't just directly say. That is just being used to explain that the concept of consciousness and its presence in all beings. But you can't really equate it saying that, okay, appliance, so where is the mind of the appliance? Where is the in-between part? No, we are not as simple as that. We are 5 levels. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, and Anandamaya. Anandamaya is the consciousness part. But Vijnanamaya, Manomaya, Pranamaya, and Annamaya, the food, the prana, the life force, the mind, and the intelligence, intellect, these also exist in us. So you can't use the appliance or the bulb example exactly as it. It is not as a straight example. It's just a pointer to help us understand the greater concept. It's because it's very abstract to understand. But this mind comes with us, like the cloud. Till the cloud disappears, we can't see the sun. So that is the effort that we have to put with the gurus.
Thank you, Swami.
I think hand mic is
Sai Anandam Swami. Swami, how to love God unconditionally even one is in the troubled times? Like mind always conquers the heart those times.
it comes by practice. Comes by practice. By loving God is a practice. You know, every day you have to wake up and tell yourself the only person who loves you truly, purely, unconditionally is God. And remind yourself again and again and again. It's like, children sometimes, let's say mother says, I won't give you this chocolate or ice cream for whatever reason. All 10 years of love of the mother, the child forgets. In that moment, the child says, see, my mother doesn't love me, not giving me the ice cream. That is mind. At that point, mind argues. No, my mother truly doesn't love me. If she loved me, why would she deny me this? But mother knows why she is denying, because, it's not good for the child, or isn't too many chocolates, doctor said it's not good for the child, whatever be the reason. So at that point, I've also remind, no, if God denied me something, it's also for my good. And something that God is trying to teach. But thinking that God does not love me is a wrong thinking. God is punishing me, God is being revengeful, God is harming me, God is hurting me, God is not kind to me. This idea itself is wrong. As I said, it is the same idea as of an irate child or a disappointed child who thinks my mother does not love me because today she denied me this. So what, 10 years she looked after me? That we forget at that moment. So that is the idea. It's a practice. Loving God is a practice. You have to practice every day, wake up and say, God alone loves me, God loves me the most unconditionally. And everything God does for me is only for my good, like a parent. That you have to keep telling yourself. It's very easy for mind to argue against God. Mind is a big lawyer. It can stand and put God in the witness box and prove him guilty also. You know what? God didn't do this for them, but did for me. And they're all living happy lives. I'm the only one suffering. Why this unkindness towards me? But then you have to go and telling, this is a practice you have to do every day. That God loves me, come what may, God loves me, do whatever others say, God loves me. That you have to practice.
Forgive us, Swami. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Pranam Swami. I'm Prashanti and I'm here from Australia. I'm a special needs mother. My son is severely autistic. He's non-verbal. There's no means of communication. He has no voice. We're doing early intervention in Singapore. He can't communicate his hunger, his thirst, his pain. I've been through grief, acceptance, and it's been hard. But I also have questions on how he's going to face this world. It's a rapid, fast-moving world that doesn't wait for people. And I have this biggest question, after me, what's going to happen to him and kids like him?
Yes, I think it's a very genuine worry of any parent, for that matter, who has a special needs child, and this worry that obviously there's a very good possibility child will live longer than the parent, and then who would look after the child? As I said, the reason for why it happens, there are many spiritual reasons. There is also a part of the child which was before the child came to you. There was a past to the child as well. So also there is a future. So the best thing, as there is a practical answer, is that yes, you have to make all the arrangement that needs to be done in terms of his social, whatever support and whatever institutions are available who can support such children. And that's, as a parent, you can do, that's the best on the physical side. But on the spiritual side, know that the child has come to complete some of its pending tasks, and I think the best way to do is that the child does not get entangled any further in the world. Probably that is kind of a safety net, or that is a kind of an immunity that the God has created around the child, so the child again does not become one of the many and gets attached or desirous, or entangled with the things. Maybe it's just a matter of a certain number of years that the child must live in this way in order to close the whatever the dues are there, the karmic dues. And as a parent, you are simply think of yourselves as facilitators or supporters of the child in that child's journey towards completing his karma, and that is how that is the most positive way you can look at things. But as I said, if you are for some other people, I have seen many in India too, they come with this question: we are getting old, our child is autistic, and afterwards what happens? Are there any institutions that can look after the child? Some institutions are coming up, otherwise some relatives, they come up sometimes, and we have to make that arrangement. As long as the child is living, must live with whatever basic support. But deep down I know it is very very difficult, but the only solace is that because you can't change the situations, and this is what it is, you have to accept it and live with it. Once you live with it, you learn to see it in the positive way, saying that there is some karmic that is due and it must get over now. And for that child, the best way is to remain detached from everything else. And sometime a day will come, the child won't even recognize perhaps the parents for whatever they have done. And that's very hurtful too. I have seen children over a period they deteriorate, and then they don't even know who these parents are. They don't remember them. It's very hurtful, but probably that is how it has been designed. And so that the child is done with all the karma and clears and goes. And if you can be any support to the child in his journey, think of yourself as a blessed beings who are allowing a soul to transition from this to that. Think like that, and at least you will derive strength from that. I was telling yesterday also, when I went to this Swami home, a lot of patients, they have dementia. They don't remember things. I think he's there here from Swami home, and he will tell the stories. And I went there, I was talking to them, they were playing and fighting like children. They're all 80s and in their 70s and 80s, but they're fighting over things. They forget they had breakfast, they want to eat again, and things like that. And then I looked at it and I told, if at this point of time death comes to this person, you may say he or she is ignorant, but she has no attachment. He has no attachment, no desire, no wishes. At that point in time, they're blank, like blank sheets. I don't know, maybe they have a blessed, better death than most of the people who remember everything and carry all the guilt and the burden of the past and desires for the future and all the grudges of everything in the present. Maybe they are better off that way. We do not know. So, everybody's karma is leading them on the right path. That's what you have to see. But yes, what support they require, the Swami home does whatever support physically or mentally, emotionally at that point in time, we do for them. That's the best we can do. But the greatest answer to all these things is a greater divine plan, a scheme of which we are all a part. And we have to accept that and find the best way to live with it without developing negativity. That is how it is. No questions from the men's side.
Just a follow-up to the question earlier. Was there a period in where man lived where subject, object, intelligence is one, or in complete self-awareness? How did we came to this stage, right, where we are carrying our, what you call our previous lives, tendencies and vasanas? Because every child born comes with this. So was there a stage where a child was born without any vasanas coming into it, where we were in the state of pure self-awareness?
Once upon a time like that, I have to start with this. But truth is that, see, the moment Jivatma comes into existence, all the ideas come into existence. The very idea that I am different from God comes into existence. The moment that comes into existence, all the other ideas come into, like I am a man, so now everything else will come. I'm a good man, I'm a bad man, I'm a healthy, I'm a handsome man, I'm a short or a tall. Now all the other attributes automatically come and settle on this idea that I am a man, which is different from God. So the moment that difference happens, it has already started off. Now you want to go and actually find out how much is pending for you, because how many births, how many ideas you have collected, when it all began. Was there a timeline, or was there a beginning where things like that? Our scriptures don't give you straight answers to anything. They won't tell you that on this particular day is the day when you actually separated from Paramatma and became a Jivatma, and then onwards your journey has started. Because time itself is an illusion as per our scriptures, you see. So Maya's concept is that Maya is like dream, right? In the dream, everything is unreal. Everything is, why did you get into the dream, and why you behaved in a certain way in the dream? When did that dream begin? And how did you acquire that personality in the dream? And how do you answer these questions? So that is why I tell them that there is no point in going on digging the past or trying to understand the origins of it. And how can you? Anyway, you can't do anything about it. It's like you have gotten inside the dream, and now in the dream you are a merchant. Whatever you try to do, can you get rid of being a merchant in the dream? You can't change it. It's going on its own. So but you are behaving accordingly. But right now, all you have to ask is, instead of doing this academic research on Jivatma, Paramatma, and all the thing that goes on, which is just an intellectual, wasteful exercise according to me, rather find what can I do in the present at this point in time that will help me overcome all these and lead a peaceful and a better life. That's all matters. What's the point in digging the past? So I tell them that, see, at this point in time, you like it, you don't like it, this is what you ended up. How many births you did, how many wrong things to become like this, I have no idea, and I will not want to know also. Whatever was done, this is what the present is. And what can I do with the present? Lead a more selfless life. This is the solution to all the problems. Lead a more pure life. This is the solution to all the issues. So that, whatever happens next is much better, much more favorable. So I leave it at that. Whereas, as I said, many people, the whole thing about going to the past, finding out which birth you killed whom, that's why she became your wife. No offense. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's simply wasteful. It excites the mind. Why, you know what? I found out this is the reason why we fight all the time, because that birth I was a Titan and she was something. It doesn't make sense to me. You just leave it at that. You say, okay, I'll go back and heal myself and things like that. If I know the reason why we are behaving in a certain way, maybe I will correct it. These are all intellectual exercises only. At the end, whatever certain, you have to deal with the person in front. And that person is not going to change the behavior tomorrow just because you know what is the reason for it. So you should learn how to live with each other, and the only thing that you can do is to do whatever you can do in the present. And the present thing is, these are basic ideas: compassion, forgiveness, acceptance, accommodating people, and, adjusting, being humble, being kind. These are all basic values. If you practice that, you can live with anybody, however difficult they might be. So this is how one must learn to accept things and do. And I do not waste too much of time in predicting or the future or, digging the past. Our way is today what I can do, let us do. Your wife is here, I believe. Oh, there she is. You don't have any question? You want to know what he did in the past to be blessed? Deal with it as it is. Yes.
Hello. Sorry. Thank you very much, Swami, for all the discourses given. I just want to find out that with all the turbulence in the world, with war and heat waves and, with all the weather conditions and all that, what is our role as Sai devotees to, as you said, we have to do more good, be compassionate, be kind and all this stuff. Is there anything we should do from now onwards to help mankind in this area where the weather has changed a lot and there's a lot of problems and even war and political issues going on? Is there any solutions for this? As a Sai devotee, what is our role in society now?
Yes, whatever we experience outside is the creation of all that we have done inside, right? Like we have individual karma, you have a collective societal karma, national karma, and a global karma. Right now, global warming is a global karma. It's different that certain countries are more responsible and certain are less responsible. You can argue that out, but it doesn't help anybody, right? At the end, we are all in the same boat. Whichever side is the whole, it doesn't matter. We are all going to sink. So what can we do? Start with, as I said, you can't influence others unless you follow whatever you want others to follow. So it begins with us. If we lead a better life, a life that is more helpful, a life that is less damaging to the society or to the environment and whatever concerns you have, it begins there, as first practicing at an individual level, then as a family, then as an extended family of friends, practicing it. What would lead to a change? You may ask whether would be fast enough to save the world from such climate disasters. We do not know, but at least we have started the process. We tried to do, at least we don't die of a guilt that we didn't do anything. We just were onlookers. So being Sai devotee or being any good human being, it begins with your individual change and transformation. You pick and choose what you would do or what would you not do in order to help the greater idea. And hopefully someday more people watch this and get influenced and slowly things start changing. But what is my understanding and experience that man rarely learns by gentle reminders. They always need hard knocks. Unless the calamity or a disaster happens, nobody somehow wakes up and does the right thing. That has become a habit with the humankind. So I don't know, maybe a big disaster strikes and everybody will wake up and say, oh, this can happen to us also, we better do the right things. So this is how it is. It's been this way for a long, long time. And I always tell you, you do not worry about the world, because world or earth knows how to look after itself. It's been there much longer than all of us, right? It's been there for 5 billion years. We are only 200,000 years or so as human beings, that too in different phases. Till 50,000 years back, we couldn't even walk on 2 legs. This is how our existence is in threat, not the world and planet's existence. It will find another way to survive. We won't survive. But as I said, some hard knocks maybe, because there's so much of greed and selfishness, so much of self-centered thinking. They don't care. They think you can buy their way through anything and everything. Your environment gets polluted, you will develop disease, I will pay for the medical care and somehow I'll be okay. But fortunately or unfortunately, diseases are getting smarter and they trick the medical system. Now there are so many things that we cannot control, even with the best of the technology and science. So somewhere there is an awareness actually growing amongst people that we have to change the way we live, the way we eat, the way we do things. But more of us do this and lead a healthier life. The proof of the concept is in our healthy lives. And others will think, oh, you are all healthy, you are all doing well. So maybe they will also follow our footsteps. But it's a very huge change of, human habits, which is very tough to do. Habits are very difficult to get rid of. And lifestyle changes, habit changes are very, very, very long-term processes. But somewhere somebody has to begin. So as Sai devotees, we can start doing the right thing, be the first to do the right things. And hopefully in our circle of influence, people will learn from us and change. That's all we can do. We cannot influence these big policy makers, because they all know that is all wrong, but they're not willing to change. So you can wake up a person who is truly sleeping. How can you wake somebody up who is just pretending to be asleep? Policy makers are pretending to be asleep. The industries are pretending to be asleep. You cannot change their mindset all of a sudden. So much of climate talks happen, so many COP meetings and all that stuff. At the end, nothing comes out of it, because they're not really willing to do that. There's too much at stake for them. So yes, at bottom, as individuals, we can at least start doing as much right as it is in our control. And hopefully that will affect a change in the whole society. That's the best we can do. And of course, pray samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. A good thought, a good vibe will always go and influence somebody else somewhere far, far away from us also. So we pray. One question last and then we will close. That's it. You want to ask something? Ask if you have. This list. You want to ask something? Now here next to you, a mic.
There's no way of hiding,
Not when you're sitting in the front.
right in front. Swami, I'm going back to where you started, where you said being obedient and being convenient. And I've always thought before marriage, it was so much easier for me to be convenient. After marriage, I truly struggle. And there are days where I feel like I actually have to literally say, I'm sorry, I can't. And that really affects me. Many times I feel like, am I really drifting away? But on the other hand, and I look at what I am doing with the family, with my daughter, husband, and all that, I do feel not really. But then I'm wondering now, is it the Maya telling me, no, not really, it's fine to be going to the park, reading books, or doing things, playing Lego, when I should be doing something else, like attending a meeting and stuff like that. So I struggle. I don't know if other mothers, others feel that way. Any advice for us on this?
You're right. What you're saying is a very pertinent question. See, as I said, there are dharmas, ashrama dharmas. So you have brahmacharya ashram dharma. When you were not married, you were just a student, you were learning, and you had little more time on your side, which you could use to do some other things. Of course, you wouldn't do a seva during your examinations, right? Even if you want to do, you will tell this is a time for the exams. I must study, and as a student, that's my duty. And after I finish my duties, I will go and do whatever service I want. Similarly, now this is a grihastha dharma. And that dharma demands certain, what you said, looking after children, husband, family, and doing what needs to be done for them. But that's also spirituality. That is what I'm trying to tell you. That you may not be able to always do what you always wanted to do or would like to do in terms of service, attending meetings, satsangs. That sacrifice you are going to make because you are part of another dharma right now, which is grihastha dharma. And that has certain duties to perform and discharge. And those duties will definitely come in your, as priority list. That will become the higher priority. But you can do with an attitude. Why am I playing Lego with my child? What am I trying to do? We are not wasting time. You're trying to influence the child, impress upon the child something good, something creative, helping the child with neuromotor skills or whatever abilities to judge, decide, create. So all the time you see how you're contributing to anybody else through your life. And contributing your your child is also a contribution, right? Contributing to your family is also a contribution. After all, if there are no good families in the society, how can society be good? If the child is not raised properly, tomorrow the child will be a burden on the society too. So somehow this duty has come to you. Turn it around and think of it as an offering of a good child to the society, to God, offering of a good family which lives in harmony and peace and does what is right. And I'm able to influence that, affect that. So that is my role at this point in time. That is why ashram dharmas are so important. When it comes to, but make sure that you run the family in such a way that when it comes to vanaprastha, everybody is mentally prepared. Then these obstacles should not come. Then you have not run the family very well. You have to slowly ensure that by giving whatever love and guidance and inspiration, slowly you lead them all to the next phase, which is important. And then you'll have a lot more time to do all these things. So you will have your own time as well. But turn it and look at it from the other side, that how can this be a contribution to somebody's life. And I am very, very, very respectful to all the parents, especially mothers, who spend a lot of time with their children to raise them. They're doing a great service to the society. As they say, the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. So it is not easy to rock the cradle, I know. They have to look after their children, but that is their contribution to the society. If they raise them wrong, you are going to destroy the society. So that's a duty again, and that duty should be done as a worship to the divine, to that jivatma who has come to you as a child, who should be raised well and helped to reach the ultimate goal. So everything can be looked at from that point of view. You don't have to feel guilty about anything. Grihastha is where you have landed in. By all means, do what is needed to be done. And do it joyfully. Do it with a purpose. And be happy with that too. There's nothing wrong. While on one side I will keep telling, you have to hurry your way, to a God. You cannot be taking your own sweet time. On the other side, there's nothing called hurry. You are God as you are, right? It's only the realization. So it's like, for different people, I tell different things. Those who are lazy, I'll tell them you have to rush. You are being too late and too lazy. But those who are not, who's being sincere, I wouldn't push them like that. So don't take every sentence and apply everywhere. It's contextual. What I say is very contextual. So this context, I am saying this as Grihastha Dharma. This is the context. In this context, do everything that is possible to contribute to the greater good of others. That is, it starts with your family, as charity begins at home, they say. From there, you influence the society at large. And when you reach the Vanaprastha Dharma, then you have more time to do all these meetings, isn't it? And those who are very clear at Brahmacharya Ashram only that they want to be like this, like Adi Shankaracharya, they can take the plunge, they can dive longer and reach directly the sannyasa dharma. That is also allowed in our scriptures. Somebody told me, why everybody should have to, why young people should think of tyaga or sannyasa, you know. So that is not right. They also should go through this step-by-step approach. So none other than my own Amma told me. She told, you know, why you should get into this sannyasa business right now. You take your time, everybody has to go. You only go preach everybody, you go brahmacharya, grahastha, anaprastha, sannyasa. So after 50 you will see. Then I asked her, what is your age? Where should you be at this point in time? Then she said, okay, do whatever you want, don't tell. See the point. So you can do what your heart says at the end. You know, if brahmacharya is, and to sannyasa is what your path is, so be it. There is nothing wrong and right in it. For others, this is also path. Societies should run. And there is nothing right and wrong in spirituality at the end. Again, don't misquote me, you know, by doing wrong things, saying, anyway, there is nothing wrong. Then you get punished. Even that is not wrong. You have to accept that also. You know? That is not going to work. As in, Bhagavad Gita says, no, the one who thinks he kills or the one who thinks he is killed, both are wrong. But using that, a murderer, you know, goes and kills somebody and goes to the judge and the court and says, you know, nobody dies, nobody kills. Bhagavad Gita says nobody is killed and nobody kills. And then the judge will also say, okay, we will hang you, but you never get killed nevertheless. So don't quote me wrongly out of context. But what I mean is that if you are trying to do good, your intentions are pure, nothing is wrong. Everything that you do is right only because you're doing with the purest intentions and you're doing it for the greater good of all. So which way you go, it doesn't matter. You're reaching the same place at the end. So that purity of thought, intentions, is the most important thing. Okay? And I hope that helps all the people who have so many responsibilities. Padma, is this enough? Today, okay. It's also time for everybody has to eat and go back. Aarti.
ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक अति महेश्वर ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपति स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपति आश्रित कल्पलतीका आश्रित कल्पलतीका आपद्बान्धव ओम जय जगदीश हरे माता पिता गुरुदैवं मरियन्तयो नीवे स्वामी मरियन्तयो नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्राशयन ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी वो साई महादेवा सद्गुरु साई महादेवा मंगलहारति अंधुको मंगलहारति अंधुको मंदर गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेव नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण सद्गुरुदेवा शांति 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 समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु शांति 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 जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय। जय बोलो सद्गुरु श्री मधुसूदन साई जी की जय।